Hello, everybody. So welcome to the third installment of Marching Monday. Today we'll be covering Avon 2018 and Blue Springs 2018, but we'll get into Blue Springs later down the line. So we have a new system of doing this just for this week. So I'll introduce everybody. So today we have me as Gavin Ray. We have Mitchell Urban or Mitchell U. Ray, Jaelyn Bray, and Isaac Gray. Then, of course, like always, we'll talk about the auditions. So the Musicians List Arts auditions, you, of course, go follow the Instagram to get all that information. They are about to release the 6 pieces we're playing, which are pretty fun pieces, may I say so myself. But, we're going to get right into, the podcast. So the first group we're going to be doing today is Avon 2018, A Fish Tale. And, it was a great show that 3 of us in this podcast got to perform against. Unless Jaelyn did. I'm not sure if she did, but that's just my general information.
I don't know either.
Oh, she doesn't know either. Well, that sort of brings an environment for some new, viewings. So I don't think I've ever watched a show all the way through. I think I've watched maybe 3/4 of the way through just because we were competing against them. So I just wanted to see, how they were performing in each semifinals and prelims. But without further ado, we'll move on to the questions. So this is for anyone to answer, but mainly Jaelyn. So how do you think the percussion sections will do?
Yeah, for sure. With bigger bands, such like Avon, they usually have bigger sections than I have experience with. So that comes with pros and cons. You have more people, it makes more sound, it's amazing pulling it together, but also there's more room for error. So it'll be interesting to hear.
I hope that the multi-cam zooms in so we can see some of those stick heights. A bunch of those stick heights. And
yeah, for sure.
So that would be interesting. So Mitchell, you have the next question, so go on ahead.
All right, so how do you guys think the brass line's going to do? Obviously, we know it's a Matt Harloff-led brass line, so pretty solid.
Well, for me, since I'm the drum corps kid, I think the brass line will do outstanding, especially since it's under direction of Matt Harloff and, Carolina Crown. They have such a great brass line, and I've seen some flow marching videos of this brass line warming up on the field, and Matt Harloff gets on a prop, and he's just conducting, and you can hear the blend of the ensemble, and he stood behind a tuba, so it was a really cool point of view. So I think the brass line will do pretty solid, but again, I haven't really watched the show all the way through, so I don't know any of the source music. I don't know if Mitchell or Isaac know exactly any of the source music either, but if they do, they can say it. So we'll hand it off to Jaelyn for the next question.
So how do you think the woodwinds will perform?
I think the woodwinds, I'm expecting them to be really good, as in the past they've had an amazing woodwind section. Really, really great 16-note runs. All their articulations have been really great in the past. From what I know, Matt Harloff is also really good at knowing his articulations with woodwind as well. Also, they do have a very, very large woodwind section, so again, more room for error, like you said, with percussion. And in the past, it's really hard for people to not stick out in the woodwind, especially also to leave the balance very, very high instead of having your low tenors and your bari saxes to kind of take over your woodwind section.
Nice. So Isaac, you have that next question there, so keep on going.
Yeah. So how do we think the overall drill will look like?
Well, so obviously this is in 2019, but they won Best Visual at Grand Nats, and obviously from just getting the chance to compete against them for all 4 years of my high school career, they've always had some pretty challenging drill. They've always performed it really well. So I think this was the same. It's more of the same of the same cleanliness of the drill, just in general.
I think they'll do pretty good with their drill. I've seen memes about them doing some mess ups in the drill, but I actually talked to some of them, and actually there's some parts in their drill that was supposed to look that way, believe it or not, that I talked to them about. But I don't know if that was just them telling me that, but that's what I was told. But I've seen some of their drill sets, and I think they do a very good job with drill throughout all the shows I've watched with them. So I think they'll do pretty well with that. And we'll hand it off to Jaelyn for that final question for Avon. So go on ahead.
Right. Okay. What do you think we'll get out of the ensemble blend?
Gavin, you want to take that? Or Isaac?
Isaac can go first.
Okay. The misconception between a lot of bands is to have a really loud high brass and have a really loud clarinet section. I almost always want to think the opposite. I always want to have a really low tenor and bari sax sound, and then I want that sound to blend with mainly the baritones and the tubas, so that they're together most of the time. I know for Tarpon, most of our music is bari saxes, baritones, and tubas have music together, while the high brass and the flutes or the high brass clarinets have the same parts. I know with Avon, usually they have contradicting parts, just like us a lot of the times. So sometimes it might be a little bit too high of a sound, but I'm expecting in Avon to have a really, really nice dark sound with their baritones. I'm really expecting the baritones to kind of lead that.
I agree. He did say the correct thing about Tarpon, that how we want the low brass and the low woodwinds to speak more, and that's sort of how we want stuff to be in drum corps, because it's like you get your timing from percussion or your drum majors, depending on where you're at on the field, and that can go with the low brass as well, because the low brass and the low woodwinds are those lower voices, and you need to usually tune down to them, which is why in a lot of drill, which this can go into the drill thing and just the overall blend of the ensemble, usually those lower voices are in the back, so you can sense those lower tones and you can tune up to them. So I think we could possibly achieve some overtones, especially with Matt Harloff under the direction of Matt Harloff, just Carolina Crown director. So I think they'll have a very nice blend of the sound with front ensemble all the way down to the low brass. I think there's going to be some great blend overall. So, without further ado, we decided to do it a little different since we have 4 judges doing this. So, Jaelyn and I will not be judging Avon. We'll be judging Blue Springs later on, but Mitchell and Isaac are going to be doing the overall music and visual for Avon 2018. Mitchell will probably be focusing more on the brass, obviously, and Isaac will be focusing on the woodwinds more, but they'll be doing overall music. So I'll send you off to their tapes, and Mitchell's tape will go first, then Isaac's tape. So yeah, we'll be right back with the questions afterward.
All right, hello everyone. So today we are going to be reviewing Avon 2018, A Fishtail. So I've had the privilege of competing against Avon for 4 years, and they've always been outstanding, especially at Grand Nationals. They've been top 2 3 out of my 4 years, and then top 3 in 2017 when they placed behind us in Broken Arrow. But even 2017 was still an outstanding show. I mean, they went down to San Antonio, they placed 4th, they took best visual out from all the Texas bands down there, and that was cool. Good for them. So obviously I'm going to be doing more brass related comments, as Isaac is going to be doing the woodwind comments. However, we're both going to be covering visual, so it's going to be interesting to see what both of our thoughts are on the visual side. So let's see if this wants to. I want to find the best. And there's the Old 100th. I think that's what it's called. Something like that they always do before every show. It's just kind of an Avon tradition. So the design, the show theme is pretty ingenious, if I do say so myself. I mean, I would have never expected that. I think it was an interesting concept. It's something that no one's explored before. I'm sure there have been Romeo and Juliet shows, but nothing on the magnitude that this is, with fish and under the sea Romeo and Juliet. Interesting.
Joining us from Avon, Indiana, please welcome the Avon High School Marching Band.
There we go. Woo!
Avon's program is entitled A Fishtail. Bands of America is proud to present in grand national finals performance, Drum majors Megan Castratar, Jessica Loker, Evan Peterson, Caroline Emmenmaker, and Mariah Shelton, and the Avon Marching Black and Gold.
All right. Oh, hi, Emma. A little bit of an eerie tone in the percussion. Mysterious.
Two households.
Both alike in dignity.
Both alike in dignity.
From ancient grudge, break to new...
So the lines from Romeo and Juliet, of course.
New mutiny. Mutiny.
So we have the first. So I like how they have half their band performing the Montagues and then the other half Capulets. I can't exactly remember which one is which, but they have totally different, same forms, but just the half of the band. Really interesting form, rotating the square, rotating the diamond, making it a flat cube. Nice strong opening statement by the brass in both groups. Definitely one of the strong suits. They're all really similar in visual and marching style, leg shape, posture. Really interesting, great drum line. They have a great world-class drum line, so they're really putting it on display right now. I think that could have come out a little bit more. There's the brass. A little inconsistency in the form. Very strong, aggressive brass section. And I think that's a very important part of it. And there's Tyson. Nice job, brass.
What light through yonder window breaks?
This is probably my favorite part of the show. I like this little movement here. They play a couple jazz licks in a jazz kind of feel, a swing kind of feel. Really awesome job, Tyson, trumpet soloist. Not much is the crown. He's really outstanding in both playing and visually, and he's a great guy. nice job playing accompaniment to the vocal part. I really like how the brass is playing to the playing accompanist to the soloist. I think that they really did a good job with that. There's the brass, there's their time to shine, and an excellent trombone solo. I love it. There we go. I enjoy that. I enjoy the jazz parts of shows that people put in, and I really think that it's a cool little aspect there. So that was really well done.
See what a scourge is laid upon your hate. All are punished.
I really don't have much to say about their visual because it's all really clean. And then they're featuring their drum line. They're world class. I think they got third at last year's DC or WGR World Championships. I mean, their front ensemble is obviously part of that too, but it's personally for me, I think I enjoy like the percussion, like the drum line more than the pit, but I also like how they run cymbals. Cymbals are fun. Cymbals look so cool. And then obviously their guard is outstanding. I think they've won 3 World Championships in a row in Scholastic World and WGI. Very tension-filled. There's a nice little brass part, and the brass are all featured in the front of the field. So you can clearly see they have their Romeo and Juliet right there, and the pink and the blue, the solid pink and blue.
The sun, for sorrow, will not show his head.
And the brass is all doing some interesting body, just kind of floating there. And it's showing the death of
For never was
Romeo.
A story of more woe than this of Juliet and her Romeo.
And there's a little bit of spacing inconsistency there. And they resolve it. Really challenging drill set, I will say. They do a really good job of making those really challenging drill sets look really clean. And there's the powerful brass. And jumping out of the fish tank. That was cool. Alright, well, brilliant job, Avon. And I know that there's obviously the quote-unquote rivalry between Carmel and Avon, and, you know, it's all in good fun. I have a lot of respect for you guys as a program. No matter whatever you guys bring to the field, it's always really well done. And this is no exception. I'm gonna admit I was a little skeptical on the show theme for a really long while, and then I sat back and said, you know, this is pretty ingenious. I would have never saw this coming. it's a cool concept, and they made the most of it. So I think that they're I mean, obviously they're one of the top groups in the nation any year. And they're always in contention to win it all but competitive results aren't what it's about. And I could tell with the emotion that the brass was playing with when they were powerful when they needed to be and when they backed off as well when they needed to. So I really thanks for performing this, and thanks for giving me the chance to compete against this. And even if you don't see Avon in first place, they're world class people. Even they stayed all 3 years that we won Grand Nationals. They were there watching our encore. I think they were at Super Regional watching our encore. Personally, for me, I had a really cool experience with them this year at state. And I have a lot of friends in their horn lines. They do really well, just day in, day out. So on that note, I'm going to turn it over to Isaac to listen to his tape.
Hey guys, it's Isaac Gray here, and we're going to be judging the Avon Marching Band Black and Gold 2018 performance. Sadly, I could not find a finals performance, but I did find their prelims performance. Their show is entitled A Fish Tale. So let's get into it. I think the setup's really, really cool. They're kind of like waving around like they're in water, which is really, really nice. Love the backdrop in the back. Really, really cool stuff.
2 households.
2 households.
Both alike in dignity.
Both alike in dignity.
From ancient grudge, brick to new litany.
Really love the movement here. Really, really nice stuff from the brass. Great stuff from the high brass. Oh wow, really, really amazing job here with your drill, and you're hitting your dots. Great job on the box, you're not collapsing your spaces there. Great job with the leading voices with the trumpets and mellophones there. Great job on that last chord, really pushing through the end of the phrase, not letting it go out. Nice job, woodwinds. Great job there. Nice job, baritones, with those runs. Really, really great job. We gotta watch the spacing in that one set right there. Right in the back, I believe that's the baritones. Nice job. Nice job hitting your dots right there. Great job. Nice low brass. Watch your space in there. We gotta make sure we look for our cover. Yeah, it looks a little bit jumbled right there. We got to make sure we hit our dots. Amazing last set though. There you go. Nice job. Great job right there. Really, really nice. Absolutely love the power that they really bring, and the woodwind's really supporting that brass sound. Really, really great job. Great job with the balance and blend as well.
It is the east, and Juliet is the sun.
Nice catch by the saber. Avon's guard is doing a great job of really portraying what they're really trying to here. Really showing the story. Love the trumpet solo here. Really nice. Really fits the show. Nice job, Brass, getting into that blend sound right there. It's already there for you. Yeah, we gotta watch out for those top notes. We're not hitting those too hard and then relaxing too much on the lower notes. We gotta blow through those as much as we do the top notes. Make sure you don't accent those top notes too much as well. Nice job. Yeah, make sure we're not relaxing there when we finish that. Make sure you still stand really, really tall there.
Laid upon your head. All are punished. All are punished.
Yeah, we gotta make sure we're counting there. This movement gotta really has to be together. Really, really exposed, especially in the drill set that you're in. Yeah, we gotta finish those circles off. We got too many spacing issues right there. Again, we got some spacing issues, and it looks like tenors and altos right there. Percussion in the back doing a great job of keeping source of time right there. Great, really great job. Forgot to say in the beginning, the front ensemble is doing a really, really amazing job of getting those runs in, getting that really musicality right there. Really, really great job, front ensemble.
A glooming peace this morning with it brings. The sun, for sorrow, will not show his head.
I like this blend here by the clarinets and flutes and the altos. Really, really nice job. I want a little bit more Barry though.
Story of more woe.
Still a really great job.
Of Juliet and her road.
Drumline keeping the tempo really, really nice. Obviously, you guys are really far back there right now, so great job. Really great job in this drill set. We got a little jumbled there, so make sure you watch for your cover. There you go. Guard finishing off right there. Really, really nice. You gotta watch that ripple. Somebody kind of hung over on the ripple right there. Alright, so that was a really, really great job. Absolutely love the brass sound that we had there. Woodwind's really, really great job supporting that as well. I would have liked a little bit more Barry sax towards the end at that part. Guard did an amazing job as well. Couple maybe ripple issues or set issues right there. But still, really, really great job. Alright, thank you for listening.
Okay, so welcome back from the Avon tapes. Hope you enjoyed Mitchell and Isaac going down their comments throughout the show. So I'll hand it off to Mitchell, then he can hand it off to Isaac after him for his judge paper. So go ahead.
All right. So given the fact that I competed against this, let's see, super regional, state circuit, NAS. Let's just say a total of 3 times, counting the entirety of our state circuit, and then semis, finals, and prelims, and finals for both super regional and Nats. I mean, I gotten pretty accustomed to seeing the show, as I believe we were on like either right before him or right after him every competition. But it sounded really good. Obviously, every Avon show always sounds pretty darn solid. The brass line is really killing it, as you would expect from Matt Harloff taught brass line. I'm gonna go into my music stuff. So again, for brass performance, I said very well done, Matt Harloff brass line. I don't really think there's much more to be said about that, other than it's just outstanding. Woodwind performance, I know that wasn't my field, but I said quality woodwind sound. It was good. Oh yeah, on brass I gave it a 190 out of 200. Same with woodwind performance. Percussion performance, world class percussion section. WGI, they got 3rd last winner, something like that. So obviously they're right up there. Their percussion is really good. So I gave them a 200. Ensemble performance, very good blend. So I gave them, they really had, it was really just solid overall. So I gave them a 195 there. And then musicianship, I really didn't have anything to harp on. It was very musical, and it was every instrument played with a characteristic sound like that you would think of on their instrument. So I gave them a 195 there. So a total of 970 out of 1,000.
Okay, nice. So
Do you want to move on to Win or to Isaac's?
Are you going to your visual and then to Isaac?
Oh, okay, I can do that.
Yeah, just do that.
So visual, obviously Avon, really, really good, clean band. What they do drill wise and visual wise, just in general. I had very clean. It was very clean drill, very clean marching individually. Same leg shape all around. So I gave that 390. Ensemble marching, I gave him another 390. There are a few inconsistencies, like spacing wise. Drill, it was pretty clean. Didn't really have much to say there. So I gave that a 95 out of 100. And then integration of marching components, great use of the guard. Avon's guard is outstanding. I think 3 world-class championships in WGI. So they're a very decorated guard. And this was just more of it, just saying, yeah, they're outstanding. They're great at what they do. So I gave him an 100. So overall, that is a 975 there. So 970 and 975. So pretty solid.
All right, so for music, I put down a lot of stuff actually. I absolutely love the opener, and
I will say I
those are
love the jazz part.
Yes, I think the jazz part was really, really great. For the ensemble, the trumpet going into it was really, 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 really great. The sax player in the middle of that, I think he put a little bit too much emphasis on the high notes. I would have liked for him to ease up a little bit more on those accents. I think he put a little bit too much. And then he kind of backed down a little bit too much in the lower tones. I would have liked to hear a little bit more lower tones, especially from the various and the tenors in the ensemble. The brass had great articulation and great low power. Like they really powerful there. They really blended with each other. You can definitely tell they've worked with each other for a while. And they really, really wanted. They found their ensemble sound that they wanted.
Couldn't agree more.
Oh yeah, definitely. And then the woodwinds had really, really clear runs. You can hear every single minuscule 16th note in there. I would have liked to hear a little bit more Barry tenor sounds. In the middle of the show, I would have liked to hear a little bit more alto. I think you kind of lost that high sax sound a little bit there. I think the flutes and clarinets really blended well. They knew exactly who to listen to back to. If they were to listen to the tenors berries, or if they were to listen to the brass at that one section. Again, the balance was great. The moving lines sounded really, really good together. You can definitely tell they got what they achieved. And yeah, that was really all for music right there.
I kind of want to take a second though, talk about that jazz kind of thing. I know personally, I'm a sucker for jazz and marching shows. I love Blue Devils 2018. That was outstanding. I love the ballad, trumpet and trombone soloist. Love that. Yes. I mean, Tyson. Obviously, he's with Crown now. He's great. But the trombone, I really enjoyed the trombone personally. He was just rocking out.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah. For me, I loved the trumpet going into it. I feel like he kind of set the mood right off the bat, and was just
right.
The mute in it sounded really, really great there.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely. So for the marching, one of the first things I noticed was individually, sometimes they were hitting their sets really, really nicely, and then there was a few times where they would miss their set and they wouldn't lock it down right away. But one thing I noticed throughout the show was they always hit their last set. They always hit every single time, every single moment. And it made this really, really good feeling, and you can tell they all felt it through their playing. It really, really looked really solid. Towards the end, they got a little bit too relaxed. They kind of lost their tall and their stature and towards the end.
Right.
Still really, really well done though.
Although it was a really, really challenging show visually. So
yes.
They were fatigued, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
yeah.
You look at the specific caption awards they've received over the past couple of years. They've gotten visual.
Yes.
At some of the hardest competitions out there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Like San Antonio 2017, I think. Yeah, 2017, yep. And then this year at Nats visually.
Yeah. So again, spacing looked really, really great all the way through. I didn't see many mistakes with that. Obviously, you had those minor mistakes. I saw a couple maybe issues with. I think it was just one thing that caught my eye was one of the guard ripples. Somebody just missed it by maybe just a step, and I mean it happens, obviously,
Right.
The drill again, finishing sets was really, really great. Locking in right on those power chords really, really looked really solid. Moving and playing was again really, really great. I mean, you always expect that. I remember seeing them 2017. They same thing. I mean, and there's moving lines, and then the woodwinds are doing maybe 4 to 5s, and then the brass is doing this halftime thing, and it just looks really, really solid. Great use of drill with the musicality, like I said. They really had those moving lines, and they really moved with it, and it kind of just fit the whole show together.
I couldn't agree more.
Is that all the comments?
Yes.
Yeah, I think
Okay. So I decided to do something a little different. So I'm going to ask the two questions that you guys were supposed to ask instead, since it's sort of about you guys. So I'll ask you guys your two questions, and Jaelyn will do hers, and then I'll ask the one that I have to ask. So for Isaac's question, so this is more towards Isaac. So how do you think the show looked with the story? How do you think the story was overall told?
I believe in the beginning it really sets off that mood of, okay, they're underwater, they're in the sea. They always start this moving kind of thing throughout the whole grassline and the woodlands, and then the guard right at the instant they just start doing this really, really cool movement right there. I think all the way through they're really portraying the story across. Obviously with how many visual captions they've won, they really don't let down on their visual, and I think it's really, really great there.
Yeah.
The drill looked really, really great all the way through. I mean, obviously you have those little nitpick things that you wish you could have seen, but they always finish their sets and they always finish those segments, and it portrays it all the way across through the music as well.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I've only seen some of that show, and I'll probably watch it after the podcast is over, just so I could deeply get into what you're saying more. And so now this question is more for Mitchell. So Mitchell, your question is the costumes. How did it fit into the show theme and just the overall presentation of their show?
I mean, I think it was spot on. I mean, you got a fish tank telling Romeo and Juliet. I think that's basically, the jackets fitted, the guard costumes worked. I'm also gonna go back and say one thing though. I know this is kind of off topic with the costumes, but at the end of their show, you have your Romeo, you'll see the Romeo, the blue lance, and then the Juliet, the one in all pink. You'll see them jump over the scaffolding in the end. So you'll see them jump out of the metaphorical fish tank. So I just want to point that out because I don't know if you would see that on yours, but my recording actually caught that. So
that's cool. I'm probably gonna try to find the recording that does that. So I'll hand it off to Jaelyn for her question for you guys real quick.
So how did it sound ensemble-wise?
That's for
I'm
either.
sure you want to take it first.
Yeah, sure. I think it was pretty solid all around. I really couldn't hear many people sticking out. They were aggressive when they needed to be, and then they were lyrical when they needed to be. So I think they kind of fit whatever mood they had to be perfectly.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with you on that. Again, the only thing that I really would have liked to see or hear is the altos a little bit more in the beginning of the show, and then the tenors and barriers I would like to hear a little bit more, just to create more of a full woodwind sound. But again, the woodwinds really supported the brass there when the brass needed it, and the brass supported the woodwind when they needed it. So again, it sounded really, really solid.
Okay, so
the ability to play behind a soloist.
Yes.
Okay, so my question. So I think we probably already got Mitchell since he pointed it out, but what about the show stuck out most to you? Either of you.
For me, it was the finishing, each part or each phrase. They always hit that set, and then they had this huge power chord or something, and it was really, really solid.
Right.
Most bands, whenever you get to that last part, they kind of die down, and then you don't look as tall, or you don't look as strong, or you don't have that musical presence, or you don't have those sets that really lock in. And as soon as you hear that, it's feels really, really great, even as a listener.
I have a couple things. I have about 3 things. So one, again, I said I'm a sucker for jazz, so that entire movement with the jazz, that I loved all of that. The second one was obviously the ones that thing I just said about them jumping out of the fish tank. And then third, they have a cymbal line.
That's cool. I didn't know. I never knew they had a cymbal line until just now. So
they have cymbal lines, and they have something called a flub. It's kind of like a single tenor that we use.
Yeah, Tarpon used it in 2016.
Yeah, we had it 2016, and we're attempting to bring it back, hopefully, this year.
What, flubs or single tenors?
Flubs.
Okay.
So, we'll call the podcast there for Avon at least. So, our next group, Jaelyn's going to introduce our next group since she's from the southern part of, Blue Springs. So she can go ahead and introduce Blue Springs.
Okay. Blue Springs show is called From a Different Angle.
Okay, so that's Blue Springs 2018. So we're going to get right into the questions. So, overall, anyone can take this, probably Jaelyn more, like we did with Avon. How do you think the percussionists will do overall, Jaelyn, especially since you've seen their show probably more than all of us have?
Right. So I actually got the opportunity to see them rehearse as well right before the Iowa show. It was really interesting to see. They have a much larger, almost double the size of the percussion I'm used to. They're very well put together. They're very in time. Their battery was definitely amazing to see rehearse, and their front ensemble as well. They've moved together, worked together, so I'm really excited to see it.
Okay, so Mitchell, you go on ahead.
So, how do you guys think this brass line will do? Obviously, we know the results of the competition at nationals. So obviously they were doing something right. But how do you guys think personally?
Isaac, do you want to say anything about brass line, or do you want to wait till the woodwinds?
I can wait till the women's if you'd like to go off this.
Okay, so brass, drum corps fella. So I've only heard them in warm-up. I actually haven't seen the show all the way through, but warm-ups, they have some strong warm-ups. They are a very well put together brass line, and I think that when I watch it with Jaelyn, that it's going to sound great, and their overall presence will, achieve those overtones that I'd love to hear, and I think, it's gonna sound great. That's my opinion. So, Jaelyn, you can ask the next question.
Yeah, so how do you think the woodwinds will perform?
In the past, personally for me, I like a darker woodwind type sound. Not necessarily that that's wrong or right. It's just my personal opinion. A couple other people's. I think for them, they have solid woodwind lines, and their parts are really, really great. I think they're a little bit too top heavy for my personal liking. But again, they do a great job of really supporting the brass line at some parts, and then when the brass line comes back in, they do a really, really great job of kind of standing their own and really pushing through that power through.
Okay, nice. So you can go on with that next question, Isaac.
So for the next question, what do you guys expect the drill to look like?
Well, I think it's gonna be really well done. I know I go back to results, especially for these couple groups. But they took 4A in semis. They took best visual caption over us and Avon and Broken Arrow. So that was awesome to see for them. So they were doing something right. They were taking visual caption over us. So I think they'll be doing fine. I think they'll have great drill. I think they'll have pretty clean foot timing and just visual in general.
Okay. So finally, Jaelyn will close us with the final question.
Yeah. So what do you think we'll get out of the ensemble blend?
Anyone want to take it first, or?
Yeah. I think the brass line is going to do a really, really great job of really balancing to the woodwinds and vice versa as well. I know Blue Springs, they usually go a little bit top heavy, which honestly for myself, I kind of like brass that's a little bit more top heavy. I think it's going to be really, really interesting to kind of listen to it. I've listened to it a couple times, and I really, really enjoy Blue Springs and kind of their ideas on their balanced blend. Again, their soloists do a really, really great job, and the brass line, the woodwind line kind of behind those do really, really great jobs as well.
Okay, nice. So we're going to do the same thing that we did before, but Jaelyn and I will be taking this group, and we'll be doing the overall music and visual, so we will see you right after the tapes, and we'll discuss our judge comments.
To the side.
Hey guys, so this is Gavin's take
Joining
for
us from Blue Springs, Missouri. Please welcome Blue Springs.
Blue Springs. Here we go. I've actually never gotten to see the show all the way through, so this will be very exciting. I'm probably going to turn the volume down a little bit so I'm not
From a different angle.
From a different angle. I do like the tarps though. It's pretty cool.
Grand National Finals performance. From Majors Tyler Dunn.
The bass drum with his head. He's flinging his plume. That's pretty funny. Oh, I gotta get my papers in front of me. Okay. Oh. That's cool. I really do like that flute choir. You guys all look uniform while you're going. Oh, nice drill. There's some diagonal issues though. Some diagonal issues. Watch those starting diagonals. So there's some spacing issues in the front here with those lines. So watch the spacing there. Just watch some of that spacing. Nice opening brass sound. A little top heavy, Nice articulation of the wings. I can hear the drum line. You guys are doing good. Asphalt Cocktail. Nice piece. That's a very technical piece. Oh, don't stick out trumpets. Trumpets are a little sticky. Trumpets a little loud. Oh, watch that arc there. Those arcs in that little, I think that's a woodwind circle. Watch that arc. Arc or circle, whatever you guys prefer that to be. And step in clean. Okay, great movement, great movement. Nice overall drill. Just watch some of those forms. Nice job, soloist. Nice use of the tarp. Just watch your uniformity there. Jazz running uniformity. Some nice lines, nice lines. Watch some of that spacing in that circle. Nice, nice, nice.
From this distant vantage point, the Earth might not seem of any particular interest.
I like
but
that
for
effect.
us, it's different. Consider again that dot. That's here. That's home. That's us.
Is that a vocalist? Oh, it is. Oh, I don't have a vocalist performance. Ah, man, I love having vocalist. I'll put it down here, musicians. I think just overall with the stuff I've heard so far, we could use some more dynamics overall. We'll watch that tuning in there, baritones. Nice overall tone as an ensemble. Watch the entering of that set, guys. So someone sticking out of the top left up there of the triangle. I think we could have some more movement, personally. Nice job, vocalist. Very great job. Here we go, back to Asphalt Cocktail. That was just a little sloppy to me. Sloppy running. We gotta make that more uniform. It looked like it was supposed to be sloppy, so it could have been, but that's just my thing. It just looks very ununiform and sloppy. Like, even with freeforms, you should have some set of skills and like a way to do it with your upper leadership. You should have a way that you guys set to do it all the same, but with a freeform style. Nice drill. Your legs look the same, that's good. Nice little ending set with all the angles. Okay, nice job, guys. So there's some inconsistencies with some things on the music and the visual side, and I'll mention that when I'm talking with Jaelyn and the other host with it. But overall, great performance, and it was a pleasure to perform with you guys. I'm happy I got to see the show all the way through. Thank you.
Hi, this is Jaelyn judging the Blue Springs BOA performance in 2018.
And the national finals performance from Majors Tyler Dunn and Cameron Ray, and the Blue Springs Marching Band.
Right off, we got movement on the field. Very interesting. Little choreographed, different little groups moving around. Very symmetrical. The front ensemble is put on one side of the field diagonally into the field, which is interesting because usually it's obviously put on the front. It's called front ensemble. The flutes in the beginning. Wow, lead you right into the opener. You have that hit from all of the brass. Okay, yes. Love that little battery bit. I like the back and forth between the battery and the flutes for sure, and the brass. Very interesting. I think I would have liked to see a little bit more from the flags. Like that you hear the front ensemble there. Coming in and out. There is a thing that I always notice watching this band, obviously, because I'm their rival band, that you don't necessarily get to hear the front ensemble as much. And I'll probably be talking about the front ensemble a lot because that is what I know. But I'll try to do my best. It's like the flags here got a little off. Only reason I can tell is because it's right in front of me. The step off was great. Interesting low solo. You can hear the mallets in the back. So far, I'm just not sure what to make of this. It's a great show. There's just nothing to follow with the storyline. Obviously, you don't need that in a BOA like this. Great opener, really strong. Like the little voiceovers to bring you back over into the ballad. Little jazz running we got going on. Wow. Perfectly in step to run through each other. Very interesting. Definitely like the connection between the percussion break and the brass during this moment. Color guard is right on point. Yes, this drill is amazing.
From this distant vantage point,
Now we're bringing it into the ballad. I see.
of any particular interest.
The break off from the circle
For us, it's different.
is great. I really like that.
Consider again that dot.
They're going into their own little formations.
Here. That's home. That's us.
I'm assuming someone is singing and it's not just a voiceover. Because that is what Blue Springs is kind of known for, their vocals, actually. Front ensemble's very together. Love the front ensemble part. And the drill in the back is very interesting. You have many different things to look at, but not in a confusing way, so that's good. It can sometimes be a little overwhelming. I love the blend from the front ensemble right into the brass. Great dynamics. Interesting that the battery is coming out in the ballad. The integration with the color guard into the drill, I really like. So they're not just on the outfield, but there is a lot of them just to fill up space, which, I mean, of course, is what color guard's for the most part, other than, of course, what they do. The big flag hit is beautiful. This is a very different type of ballad. I do really enjoy it, but you don't necessarily see this in a lot of marching bands with vocalists and percussion in ballads together. So far, other than the flutes in the beginning, haven't heard a lot of upper woodwind sound. I'm assuming we'll hear that right in the closer as well. Great ballad, super pretty. I love the different features and design. Front ensemble and battery connection is good. That's very interesting to hear. I can't even tell what instrument that is. Again, their drill is amazing. Nice integration into the battery. I do really like the voiceovers. They add a lot. It's very hard to sometimes understand what they say, but of course that goes with any voiceover. Love the soloist here. Wow. I love how you can hear little pops of front ensemble inside. And their crashes add a lot to it. Aww, they do their own poses. Love moments like that. Overall, from what I can tell, especially as a percussionist, in front ensemble, someone who hasn't marched on a field in a BOA like this, it looked amazing, sounded amazing, and even though they are my rivals, did love it.
Okay, so hello everybody. So welcome back from the tape. So it was mine, then Jaelyn. So I'll say my music comments and then visual, and then I'll hand it off to Jaelyn to say hers. So overall for music, I gave you guys a 967 out of 1,000. There was a lot of tuning issues in the baritone section. That's just something I picked out because I'm a brass player, so I heard a lot of baritone issues, just inconsistent with some of the lower voices as well, that I feel the brass in general could have been louder. I felt the woodwinds sort of dominated this group, just the woodwinds were the top of it, and that's not a bad thing. The woodwinds are on top, and they're not usually on top, but the brass should have been louder in my opinion. Woodwinds, like I just said, great job, flute choir, and great job to the woodwinds. And you guys have some nice articulations. Percussion, I'm a newbie on percussion, so that's more Jaelyn's thing when it gets to her. But I said just great job with the timing, with the overall drum line, and the front ensemble seemed consistent in my opinion. The ensemble blend was pretty good. They blended very well as an ensemble, just more brass sound. It just seems like they were sort of carried on the back of the woodwinds, so that's a little oof. Nice overall tone as an ensemble, though. You guys sounded full. You guys had a nice tone, just some intonation problems. And the vocalist, just watch some of those upper pitches, man. Like, I'm a vocalist. You sounded great. Just watch those upper pitches, and the overall phrasing the ensemble used was great. And that's my music, so I'll go on to visual now. So, visual. You guys were in step, but there was some jazz running that seemed a little sloppy in the jazz running, and could have been more uniform. And just watch the side of your triangle drills. Some of those triangle drills sort of come out a little bit too much. And your first set, I couldn't see the diagonals like I probably should have. Just it seemed a little bit too spread, and I don't know how your group does it. Obviously, we try to do like straight lines and diagonals. I don't know how it is for your group, but I just say watch those diagonals and the arcs when you do your circles with the woodwinds. You guys arrive at your sets pretty consistently, and I'm sort of mainly doing the visual side since Jaelyn doesn't get to do visual much and she's in front ensemble. The overall drill looked very nice, though. You had some good forms, but I feel like you guys could have had more movement overall. There's just some movement issues that I think you guys could have added some, where you guys were playing and standing still instead of just going to the knee. Just add a little bit more variety there. And overall, you guys looked great visually, and those are my comments. So I'll hand it off to Jaelyn to do her music, then visual.
Okay, so for music, I gave a 975 out of 1,000 because I thought it was really great. I really liked the connection between the brass and the percussion whenever it came to those points. And especially loved the woodwind feature in the beginning. The little flute choir was super fun to listen to and to head into. The percussion, I was kind of disappointed. It's not their fault, obviously, that the show was written this way, but there was no big drum break or any real horn ensemble break other than the little parts during the ballad in the beginning whenever it leads into the vocalist, which was interesting, the chords for sure. But I know as an experienced front ensemble player, there are a lot of parts that you're playing during the whole piece, and the fact that no one gets to hear them is disappointing. And as in being a cymbal player and being a part of the battery before, it's kind of disappointing to not have a drum break as well because it adds so much to a piece, I think. But overall, battery did a great job keeping in time, leading it into the different parts of the show. And I really thought it was interesting that they had the battery as a part of the ballad, because usually you keep it out of the ballad. It's too harsh, but it worked really well with the vocalist, I thought. And so it blended really well. I thought it was really great rhythmically, and yeah. And then visually, I've never marched on a field for a show before. So to me, it looked really cool. And whenever they ran in between each other and perfectly, that was really interesting to watch. But that's about it for me.
Okay, so that's nice. So we said a lot of this like similar things, and you did take the percussion side more, which I enjoyed. So how we're going to do the questions is Isaac will ask his, and then Mitchell will close us off with the final three. So Isaac, go on ahead.
Yeah, so for the first question I had is, how did the show look, and how was the story portrayed?
I didn't get the feeling of a story. That was kind of my thing with the show.
Mm-hmm.
It was like I didn't really know what I was watching. It looked cool, loved it. Didn't really know what it was supposed to be, at least in my opinion. What do you think, Gavin?
I think that it's more or less of a story and more of like a theme, sort of like a Blue Coast 2014 with the theme Tilt. It seemed like they tilted the whole field, but what's the show name called again? From a Different Angle. So they did have the tarps at a different angle, and they majority marched on the tarp, and I did enjoy that, but I just didn't get the sense of them portraying the show as full as it probably could have been. So I just think maybe if they added a story behind it, because this vocalist sort of came out of nowhere in my opinion, but yeah, we'll hand it off to Mitchell for the closing questions. Sure. Yeah.
All right. So, the costumes, how did you think it fit the show?
I couldn't really see them.
They're just pink and sparkly.
Yeah, pink and sparkly like the tarps, so that works.
Yeah. That's it. That's all you need for the theme, I guess.
I will say I miss the old Golden Regiment stuff, like the ones that they have on their trailer, like the dude just sitting there, like a Cavaliers kind of thing. Like
right.
See on their trailer, it's like kind of like the Cavaliers dude, just looking, just sitting there like a boss. But like, I miss the old like little like the hats with the feather in it. That was cool. I was like, oh, that's cool. And little freshman Mitchell was sitting there in retreat at Indy Super Regional. Oh, that's nice. And then they switched, and I was like, oh,
so
I miss those hats.
Go on with those final two questions, Mitchell.
All right, so Jaelyn, how did it sound ensemble-wise?
Ensemble-wise, to me, it sounded pretty good. I really liked how it all connected together. They usually had parts that interlinked and then led into another, so I really liked that, and the fullness of the show overall was great for me.
There you go. I couldn't really ask for a better response. Now, Gavin, what about the show stuck out for you the most?
Well, personally, about the show, I didn't get anything really... I didn't feel as... I don't know, you get this feeling when you watch a very good show that's just, like, you get the theme, you get the story behind it, and you get this, like, little, like, I don't know what I'm trying to say here, joyful feeling in you. I really didn't get that until the vocalist came out, because I'm a vocalist, so I think the vocalist probably stood out the most to me in the show. Even though I don't know why they had the vocalist, I wish I could have heard the words more. Maybe that did tell a little bit of a story, but overall, I think that's probably what stuck out the most to me. And yeah, so I guess that's our final question here. So, of course, I gotta say what's next week. So next week, we got Claudia Taylor Johnson, 2019.
Yes, sir!
Can't wait for that show. That's gonna be a great show to watch. And you know, that was Gavin Ray, Mitchell Urban, Isaac Ray, and Jaelyn Bray without Owen, sadly. But we'll catch you tomorrow with Indoor Tuesday. And yeah, see you tomorrow.